Hi, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Megan.
Welcome to the Grimdark Diaries.
We're your geek gal pals obsessed with true crime and all things dark and disturbing.
Hi, hello, everybody. Welcome back to our wonderful part 2 return of the cliffhanger.
Return of the cliffhanger. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Megan, do you watch Stranger Things?
I do, but I have not watched the last season yet.
You haven't watched it?
I haven't. No, I haven't had time to sit down. Listen. I have to binge it, so I have to have the time to sit down and watch the whole thing.
That's fair. It's really good.
Yeah, I have no chill when it comes to Netflix series, so I have to be able to watch the whole thing in one sitting. I haven't had the opportunity. I usually reserve those for the weekends when I have nothing going on or when I get sick and my body forces me to lay down for a while.
You're going to see spoilers soon if you don't.
I know.
Watch it.
I know. There's been a couple of things posted even in our group chat where I'm like, ooh, you can't click that because obviously spoilers. But
if you go on TikTok, it's nothing but spoilers.
I'm on TikTok quite frequently nowadays, but I don't see spoilers for Stranger Things. It's not in my For You yet because I haven't been searching it or anything about it.
Oh, yeah. Every second thing I scroll on is that Kate Bush song, Running Up That Hill. Which is a freaking good song. I'm glad that has reemerged into the world.
I listened to it and I'm like, I do not remember this song from back in the day because it was not a song that I listened to anyway. Although
no, I've heard
I was
it
only
before,
like
but
2 years old when it came out. But anyway.
Nothing else? Okay, awesome.
No.
Let's
I have
go.
nothing else to talk about with that song.
So last week we talked about Ruth Finley and her stalker that her lovely husband Ed named the Poet. And he was sending his creepy letters and he kidnapped her. He found her in the streets when she was walking downtown. And then where we left off is that she thought that they were in the clear and they hadn't heard from him for a while. And so she decided to go shopping. And when she came out of the mall, the parking lot was empty except for her car. And as she was walking to her car, she heard a voice. Dun, dun, dun. Mm-hmm. She turned around and it was the same man that had kidnapped her the year before.
Right. And then you left us all hanging on a cliff.
Right? Well, I'm throwing you your rope ladder.
Excellent.
To come off of the cliff.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Is it snug and secure at the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I might step on your fingers. So you keep going.
Oh, wow. Okay. Don't know if I feel safe climbing.
I don't know what that analogy would be. That would be like if I never told you part 2. I guess.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Wait, what is this whole episode going to be about? We'll never know.
I just do a new topic.
Oh, that's funny. That actually would be pretty funny if you did that.
I'll just gaslight everybody. Okay, so she turned around. She saw it was him. Because at this point, she wasn't fully at her car. She was on her way to her car. Mm-hmm. So when she realized he was in the parking lot with her, she tried to run to her car. But before she could unlock the door, because this is the time of not automatic burp locks.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, that noise that locks make.
Yeah, it was a bang on impersonation. Thank you.
Yeah. I like my new car. I got the fancy new Honda Civic and it's all keyless. So when I walk up to it, it just opens and it's great.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's a great test. So and the inside, like to turn it on is keyless too. So I literally never take out my car keys because I don't ever need them. And it's a real great test. If I walk up to the car and it doesn't open, I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't have this bag last time. Where are my keys? I have no idea.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess that's a good indicator. You can't leave.
Yeah, and if the door opens and the car starts, I know they're on my body somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, see, for me, I need to have my keys to lock my door when I leave because I have to lock it with a key on the way out. So if I don't do that,
I just walk away and it locks. But I did learn a fun thing about my car and about automatic locks that I didn't know. We were hiking the other week and I didn't want to take my purse with me. So I was like, I'll put it in the trunk. And so I put it in the trunk and I'm trying to close the trunk and it's just making this horrible beeping noise at me and the trunk will not close. It just keeps flying back open. And I'm like, why won't the trunk close? And it's like, beep, 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 beep.
Really?
I'm like, what's happening? Yeah. And then my husband goes, are your car keys in your purse? I was like, probably. And he's like, the car won't let you lock them inside.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, wow, that car is smarter than me because I couldn't figure that out.
That's actually a really good feature.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll happen if I have my keys in my little backpack and I'm getting something out of the trunk and I'm bent over.
Yeah.
It'll start beeping at me because it's like your keys are in the trunk.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah,
Right. I had no idea
that.
why it was
There
beeping
must
at
be
me
like
until...
perimeter things around your car that say like what's inside the car versus outside the car.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
It also has a cool thing if it feels weight in the back seat. When I turn the car off, a thing flashes on my dash and it shows where it sees the weight to be like check back seats. So I think you don't leave like a child or something in there or your groceries.
Love that feature. Oh my gosh. As someone who used to work in car insurance,
Yeah.
that is a fantastic feature to implement into your vehicles. Wow. Good job.
Right.
Good job, Honda.
Smart cars. They're great.
Yeah, my car, listen, I upgraded to what I have now, which is just a 2015 Hyundai Sonata, but it is like not as smart as that for one, but it was way smarter than the car I had before that, where I didn't even have automatic locks. I had to stick the key in the tumbler and like turn to unlock the car. And it was like, I don't know. I think I had to replace the tumbler at least once or twice while it was still under warranty. And then after the warranty was done, the passenger side was gone and the driver's side was starting to go. And I traded my car in and they just gave me like full value for the car, like what was left to pay off on it or whatever. Paid off that, upgraded to the new car. I'm like, not my problem anymore. I don't have to stick a key in the tumbler of the door anymore and expect it to go bad. I guess I don't know why it kept going bad, but every time you stick your key in and try to turn, it would just like not turn sometimes. It was so annoying.
That's horrible.
Yeah. I was happy to upgrade to what I have. Now I'm actually scared to upgrade, even though a lot of the features in new cars are really, really good. Like my sister has one of the ones that like tracks the lanes that you're in.
We do too.
Do you?
We can turn it off though. Yeah.
So, but it comes with that big box on your windshield. So when she had a crack in her windshield, she had to get it replaced. It was going to cost her like $800 or $900 just to replace the windshield because of that box. And they have to like reconfigure. I don't know. They have to like remove it and replace it or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what they have to do with it, but it was just going to cost basically double the amount that you would normally pay for just a straight up windshield just because of that box on it for the smart vehicles. So it is a little bit more expensive, and I guess that's how they get you.
That's why I lease, and then I just give the car back and I get a newer, fancier one every couple years.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Works for me. I like new stuff.
Yeah. Definitely the smart way to go. Although my car was almost paid off. I'll own it in April next year, so that's good.
Well, we made it one sentence into my life. So
listen, we forgot to do like a better intro, so we're just making up for it now, I guess.
Hey, who forgot?
Who forgot? Listen, I didn't have anything to add about Stranger Things because I haven't seen the new season.
I volleyed. You could have volleyed back.
Listen, I had nothing to volley because I haven't seen the new season yet.
You could volley a new ball.
A new ball. Oh, okay. I didn't know that was on the table.
That is how conversations work, generally speaking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So she tried to run to her car and she couldn't unlock the door in time because she had to pull Megan and she had to stick her key in the thing. And the man caught up to her before she could get the door open. He grabbed her wrist and he was kind of behind her. So he grabbed her wrist and then slammed her head into the window. He told her to get in the car and said he wanted to take her to a bridge near the August Airport Road. And he told her, we'll go to a nice little place where it says keep out. He opened the car door. No, I lied. The door window was partially open. So he threw a brown paper bag through the open window into the car. In the bag was a red bandana, white tape, rope, a half-empty bottle of wine, and a clothesline. Ruth, even though she was clearly in panic mode, she's still a badass, and she was able to actually break away from him, from the hold he had on her wrist. And so she ran around to the other side of the car, but then the man pulled out an 8-inch boning knife.
What the? Whoa.
Yeah. And he chased her around to the other side and he started stabbing her.
What the? Oh my God.
Yes.
Yikes. That poor woman.
He stabbed her twice in the back and once in the side.
Oh my gosh.
On the third stab, the knife actually got stuck in her side.
Oh my
And she,
God.
yeah, like
What?
she felt that one go in deeper.
And get stuck?
Yeah, like she felt his grip loosen, like he couldn't get it out. So
oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Whoa. That is an image I can't unsee. Holy crap.
Everyone picture it.
No, I don't recommend
No.
I don't recommend it. Oh my God. That poor woman. Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Once she felt his grip on the knife loosen because it was stuck, she broke away from him again and she ran to the passenger side and she was able to open and shut the door, but the window was the window that was open a little bit. Mm-hmm. So she's trying to furiously roll up the window because it is the time of roll up windows.
Right.
And then he came after her and he stuck his hand through the window trying to get in to reach her, but she just kept rolling it
Good
up.
for her.
Right.
No safety.
Know, right?
No safety features on those windows.
No. Do you remember, did you and your siblings have races with the windows when you were a kid?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a thing kids of these days will not understand.
It's so true. That's so funny.
Mm-hmm. So she's furiously rolling up this window and he's trying to stick, he has his hand in, but then as it's getting squished, he starts to pull his hand out and he was wearing brown gloves and his brown glove actually got stuck in the window.
Okay.
Like the little fingers of the glove were still stuck in there and he pulled his hand out. So then she hopped over to the driver's side, turned the car on and absolutely peeled out of there and took off.
Is the knife still stuck in her at this point?
The knife is still stuck in her side.
Way. Oh
Yes.
my God, this woman. What a badass. Obviously survival mode kicked in. Jeez.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She was definitely in her fight or flight mentality.
Yeah.
At one point, she was stopped at a red light and she looked down at her side where she felt a burning pain and she remembered that she was stabbed. And she said blood was just dripping everywhere out of the wound.
Wow.
She felt super woozy.
Yeah.
She saw a gas station with a payphone, so she pulled over to call the police headquarters and tell them what happened and that he came back and she was stabbed. They said they'd send an officer immediately, but Ruth was so scared that the man was following her that she actually got into her car and kept driving to get back to her house.
She should have went straight to the police station.
I think
or the hospital.
it said that her house was only 5 minutes from that gas station.
Okay.
So I don't know where everything, maybe it was, 30 minutes to the police station and the hospital. And
but does this guy also know where she lives? Like, I feel like that's also not
he
a safe
would, yeah,
place
because
to
he's been
go.
mailing her letters, so he has to know her address.
Yeah, like also not a safe place to go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like judging her movements, but she's literally like losing all of her
that's
blood.
fair.
So.
Yeah.
Poor woman.
The police captain that had answered her phone call, he said that he was going to call Ed to let him know what was going on. So when Ruth pulled up to the curb in front of their house, Ed was already waiting outside for her.
Good. I guess that's true because the police have been informed about all of this going on.
Yeah.
And so they were aware of her situation. So that makes sense. Sorry, it's flooding back to me after. It's been a long time, I feel. It's only
As
been
Megan climbs back up that cliff, it's all coming back. She's running up that hill. Oh, we went in different places. Look out for our pop punk CD. I don't know why it's pop punk, but
it'll be a mashup song.
Yeah.
Two songs that do not go together at all.
Yeah, Megan plays the keyboard. I play my ukulele.
That's right, yeah.
It'll be great.
Can't wait. Who wants to play the tambourine? Because I feel like we need a tambourine in the mix.
Or a bongo drum.
Ooh, yeah, good one, yeah. Or maracas.
Ooh.
I know, we have like the full ensemble right here.
Who would like to hire us for, what are those things called? Where you hire people and they sing at you?
What? Like a mariachi?
What is that thing where you can hire somebody like a birthday greeting and they'll go sing at you? What is that?
Oh, yeah.
Why can't I think?
Not like the barbershop quartet, but
like a something gram. Not a sing-a-gram, but something like that. Not a telegram.
Why can't I've never had one happen to me.
No, I don't think you can purchase those here.
I don't think we have them here. I'm pretty sure it's just something I've seen on TV before. I know what you mean, but I can't think of it.
Well, this is embarrassing. Neither of us can think about it.
We might come
that
up
thing.
with...
We're going to do that thing.
It'll literally be like in the middle of the worst part of the story where it comes to me.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
one of us will shout it out.
Yeah.
And anyone at home that's listening to this and knows the exact word is screaming.
Yeah.
At their radio.
At us.
Yeah. Because that's what I do when I listen to podcasts
It's
and they
so true.
are not getting a word right. And I'm like, oh my God, it's this, you idiots.
Exactly. I do the same thing. It's different when you're recording, okay? The pressure is on.
I worked a long day. Yeah.
Exactly.
My brain is melty already.
Yeah, that's right.
So Ed was waiting out. I don't even know how we got on that topic. But so she almost fainted when she tried to get out of the car. Ed was helping her and she begged him to take the knife out, but Ed knew better. So he put her in the passenger seat of the car and then he hopped in and he drove as fast as humanly possible to the hospital.
Good. I'm glad he took her because it's probably okay that they did it this way, although I feel like seconds matter when it comes to your life, but
yeah.
But she wanted to feel safe, and I feel like Ed could do that, and the police are now on the case, so I guess it's okay, as long as she survives.
Lieutenant Drowatsky also headed to the hospital after he heard what happened, and when he arrived, he saw Ruth lying on an emergency room bed. He asked her what the heck had happened, and she lifted up her side to show him that the knife was still stuck in her.
Oh my gosh.
And then a few minutes later, the knife like slid out of her and fell on the floor.
No, it did not.
Yes.
As if it was like staying in her so she didn't bleed out and she had time to get to the hospital.
Yes.
Like that is a little bit on the supernatural side in my opinion.
Right.
It's like something was just holding it in that whole time until she was safe at the hospital when they could help her.
And then they booped it.
Oh my God. Boop. Okay. When I hear boop, I think literally like booping a dog's nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a ghost boop.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I am here for it.
The doctors said the wound in her side where the knife had gotten stuck was about 2 inches deep. And had it been any deeper, it could have possibly killed her.
Oh my gosh.
Based on where it was. I don't know what it would have hit, but apparently it would have hit something.
I'm so curious what it hit to stop and get stuck in her.
I don't know. And I don't know
Ghost
Like your side is your side is big. Like I don't know if it was like hip side, stomach side, rib side,
right.
side boob. I don't know.
I don't know why I laughed at that. I'm sorry. I kind of feel like it's got to be the ribs or somewhere around the ribs or.
Yeah.
I know. Don't even think about it. You have hip.
For some reason, it was less gross
issues.
to me if it was in like side of the stomach where it's very fleshy. But if it's side of the ribs, where your rib bones are, because then that would mean it'd be between your ribs.
But I don't know what would. I don't know. I guess I don't know the body well enough to know what could stop a knife while it's being.
Oh, someone's got to give Megan some body lessons.
Oh, please do.
Body yaddy
At
yaddy.
me. Oh my god.
Anyone that'd like to give Megan some anatomy lessons, please email thegrimdarkdiaries@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want and need after this episode.
Make the subject appointment for Megan's physical, and then I will forward all emails to her.
I do not need a physical. Not from random strangers that listen to our podcast anyway.
You don't know. Maybe one of them's a doctor.
One of them could be a doctor. You're right. I already have a doctor, though. And she's very good.
This could be an off-hours doctor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Off-hours. That listens to true crime. Off-hour doctors. Yeah.
You think they can't listen to true crime?
No, I think they might. But it sounds sketchy what you're saying right now.
You don't think they have off hours and they enjoy a little true crime in their life?
Well, do you think doctors have off hours? I feel like the answer to that question is not really.
Not in our medical system over here.
Definitely
this
not
slice
here.
of the world.
No, absolutely.
Universal healthcare is great. Less great when you can't get in to see a doctor.
Yeah. I feel...
It's because they need to be paid more because they don't get paid enough for what they do.
They absolutely do not get paid enough. And they're, especially with the way this last 2 years went, the health system is just like, I don't know. Nobody wants to be a doctor anymore because of all the crap they had to put up with. So everybody's quitting or they're moving or they're doing something, but they're not here. That's for sure. It's unfortunate.
No.
We have a wait list far too long for people who need family doctors in this province.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So deep wound almost killed her. She also had those deep gashes on her back because he had stabbed her there too. And she had gashes on her left arm. Ugh. That night, the local news ran with the story and they put a sketch in it of the man and any information that Ruth had given about him just to see if they could get any tips on who he was. Because at this point, they still have no idea. Ruth had to recover in hospital for 9 days from her injuries.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
The day after she went home, a nurse actually called the police and told them that a man fitting the description of the attacker that Ruth had provided had visited the nurse's station in the hospital to ask about Ruth. Lieutenant Drowatsky thought maybe the guy had come back to finish the job.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. So then he was worried because Ruth was released and at home at this point, and clearly the stalker knows where she lives because he sends her letters. Right. So Drowatsky actually stayed at their house for the next 48 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Just to make sure, and nobody showed up.
What a top-notch cop.
Yeah, Drowatsky's really good. He's really good throughout the whole story.
That's amazing.
In September, Ed decided he would put a message in the classified section of a paper in an attempt to kind of reach the attacker that way because they didn't have a return address for all of these letters, so they had no way to communicate back to him. His ad read, "Poet, tell me what I owe you." And then it had the initials RSF, which I'm assuming is Ruth's initials. I'm assuming she has a middle name that starts with S.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
The media loved this nickname that Ed came up with because at this point, this was just Ed's nickname.
Ah, that's right. Yes.
But now he put it in this ad.
Yeah.
And so from then on out, all of the coverage of him they called him the poet.
He
So
was-
Ed actually made up the name.
That's because it was easily sensationalized.
Oh, yeah. As wild as this tactic was, using classified ads, it actually did work. And the poet put in a response to the ad.
Oh.
It said, "To RSF, the price of my service to stay alive can now be settled at 5." But then it didn't share anything else.
Okay, how do you respond to an ad in the paper? Do you have to write in or do you go in?
You could write in.
Oh, I wonder. I was going to say because like the police could have been monitoring who responds with the newspaper.
No, I think you can just send it in.
Boo.
You could mail everything back then.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that really didn't get them anywhere because it still didn't provide any information and it didn't provide any other way to get in contact with him.
Right.
The poet also put another ad in the paper that said Ruth was the 7th and hardest to find, which police then connected that back to the theory that he was possibly the BTK strangler.
Oh.
Because at that point, BTK had killed 6 people.
Right.
So if he were to kill Ruth, it would be 7.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. That same paper that was running the classified ads then came out in October, because that was September, and they admitted that the poet had been sending the newspaper letters for the last 6 months.
What?
Yeah.
And saying what?
Poems.
Oh.
Everyone's favorite.
Because they
Here
were
is an excerpt
so good.
from one of the
great.
poems.
I'm going to get my nap pod ready.
Yeah. Get your snaps.
Yeah, that's right. The
Ready.
Snaps. Oh my god.
So this poem, this example poem that he sent said, "If any had a brain, no one would have pain." Good. Nope, can't even make it through that first line.
That's a good try, Nikki.
Okay. Okay, I gotta get on my man. I can't have words today.
This was like our intro back in the day when we first started
Yeah.
all over again.
What's that thing called? Oh, I'm getting into my slam poetry mood. Like I'm going to some slam poetry cafe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll get my snapping fingers ready.
Okay. If any had a brain, no one would have pain. Good or evil, my secret shall not be known. I unnoticed go my way. I may just prosper for one day.
Oh my god.
Fini.
Finn.
Yeah. Roll credits.
That was not snap worthy.
No.
I can't even give it justice.
I give that a flick.
Flick. You hear that? Like I didn't know if Discord would noise gate that one.
So police decided to ramp up protection of Ruth because now that there's been the stabbing, clearly the poet is escalating everything.
Right.
They had 8 undercover officers with her while she was out shopping, just watching her at all times. 8.
Wow.
Yeah, because that seemed to be when he would go after her, is when she'd be out alone in town,
Yep,
running errands or doing shopping.
Yeah. That's excessive. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, especially if they think he's BTK.
True. That's true. They had a whole task force probably on that.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Totally fair. Yeah, absolutely.
They even had her wired for sound just in case.
Yeah.
But there was never an attack when she was being watched.
I feel like he's, as much as his poetry is really not good, I feel like he's not stupid either.
No.
And he would see that.
Then something super creepy happened. Ruth found a letter from the poet, but this time it was just laid on her front porch.
Ugh.
So he didn't mail it. He physically went to their house and put it on the front porch.
I hate that. I hate the thought of that. Like, what a violation of your own personal property. Like,
Oh, yeah.
ooh. Like, what else did he do while he was there? Did he look in the windows? Did he, you know what I mean? Like, my mind,
was he watching you from outside?
Right? My mind would be all over the place, like wondering what he did when he was there and how many times he's been there and what he's done. Like, ooh, creepy, creepy, creepy.
After she found the letter on the porch, she started to hear loud noises from their garage some nights. So she got really worried that he'd gotten into the garage.
Yeah.
They didn't find any evidence of that, though.
That's good.
In the letter left on the porch, it said, "A fucked up childhood causes anger and hate. Players of games are forced to wait." So this...
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Just joking.
It was a short but sweet letter.
Was it sweet? I don't know.
No, it wasn't.
That's debatable.
It was weird.
Yeah. I'm guessing he's just basically saying that now we're playing a game and you're going to wait and be on edge until the next move, basically.
Yeah.
That would be my thought.
The police still have zero leads, so they're grasping at this point, and they decide to try and have Ruth hypnotized so that she could recall the days that she was attacked and then see if she could bring out any new details about the man. It didn't work. That's the end of that storyline.
Oh.
Nothing ever came of it.
Okay. I was like waiting for the next thing to drop.
No, I start like a new sentence and I'm like, I should probably just say it did nothing happened.
Okay.
It was a no-go.
All right. That's unfortunate.
In January of 1980, Lieutenant Drowatsky was promoted to captain. No, he was promoted. I don't know what he was promoted to. I should write that down.
I just lied to all of you.
I lied. I don't know what comes after lieutenant, but he was promoted.
Probably sergeant.
So then maybe, I have no idea.
I would guess sergeant, yeah.
So someone else took over the case and his name was Captain Hill.
Okay, interesting.
When he was reviewing the case with fresh eyes, he wondered if possibly Ruth or Ed were behind the letters.
Really?
Yes, originally, when he was getting like briefed on the case.
Gotcha. I mean, somebody did actually attack her and stabbed her, and it was obviously not her husband.
Yeah. And he said that once he read the medical report, it indicated the doctors in the emergency room said that Ruth wouldn't have been able to stab herself at the angle that they found the knife.
Good. I'm glad that evidence was
yeah, and that was the
file.
doctor's opinion. They just didn't think it'd be possible for her to self-inflict it.
Yeah.
And so then that theory was kind of out of his brain.
What a horrible thing to... I get it. I understand why they go that angle, but like what a horrible thing to have to put a victim of trauma through. Like that is just... Yeah. I can't even imagine what you would have to go through to think that nobody believes you when you're trying to say what actually happened.
Yeah. The poet somehow knew about this change in command. So once the case had gotten moved over to Captain Hill, the poet wrote a letter to Hill, and it began with the line, "There once was a capt who had a asshole for a heart."
Sorry. Okay,
he had a asshole.
I continue. I'm sorry.
No, that was all I had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The letter it was of nothing of importance, but I like that first line. There once was a capt who had a asshole for a heart.
Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. So I was like, what? What is this?
It's if you think about it literally, it is very weirdly specific.
How else can you think about it? Like,
I'm assuming they meant he had like a cold heart.
But that doesn't
like if someone is an asshole, they're like a jerk. Like I don't know.
I guess.
So like maybe they mean like at heart you're a jerk.
But like, I don't know. Do you know the person? Like, do you know this captain? Maybe he knew him and he thought that he was a cold-hearted person.
He has an asshole.
A asshole. My God.
Not an asshole. A asshole.
Right. Oh my gosh. Poor grammar and poor poetry. Okay.
I should have said this part before. So, because that was January that they made the switch.
Right.
But on Christmas Eve, so right before that, the phone lines in their house were actually cut for the second time.
Oh, shit.
So the phone company actually had to come out and bury the replacement lines underground so that it wouldn't happen again.
That's wild. Whoa.
Yeah. So clearly he's getting bolder because he's coming on their property.
Yes.
So the Finleys put in an alarm system on their back gate. And this, I don't know why this is Christmas Eve. It must not be Christmas Eve because then my next line says, and Captain Hill. So disregard whatever that timeline is. Either way, their phone lines got cut.
Okay.
The phone company had to come out and bury the lines. They put an alarm system on their back gate. And then Captain Hill put a surveillance camera in their backyard.
Wow.
Right.
That's good that they got the camera.
Yeah. He then assigned detectives to watch the camera feed 24 hours a day from inside the Finley's dining room.
Oh, good. Actually in their home.
Yeah.
Wow. They really wanted to catch this guy.
Yes.
Still, I'm assuming under the assumption that it was the BTK killer.
Yeah. And I will say this camera, it was not a hidden camera. It was just a camera out in the open.
Okay.
Ruth felt bad. The detectives had to be there 24 hours a day. She liked to stay and keep them company. It said that she baked them lots of delicious desserts, and
I knew you were
to
going to
keep
go
them
there.
entertained, she would read them the letters the poet sent her.
Oh my God.
Ruth, you got to find something else, girl. Play cribbage with them or something.
That is not fine
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah, so I'm imagining her reading that. He had an asshole.
It had an ass. Oh my God. Oh, this poor woman. I feel so bad for her.
On January 25th, Ruth called the police to tell them that the poet had called her that afternoon while she was at work. He told her that he had left a surprise in the lobby of her office.
Oh, her office, right. There's nobody watching her there?
No.
Why?
I just
Hello?
ask Captain Hill.
Captain Hill, can you please explain to me why you were not watching her work as well?
Detectives went over to her office after she called, and they found a 12-inch butcher knife wrapped in a red bandana in the lobby's phone booth.
What is the significance of this red bandana? Do we find it? I'm
it's a
very
recurring
curious.
theme.
It is a recurring theme, and I'm very, very curious. What is that? The not the Crips, but is it the blood?
Do you think I know? Do I look like a person that would
don't know. Listen, you come out with some really crazy true crime facts sometimes.
That is true. I don't even like the color red, Megan.
Very true. Absolutely true.
I don't know. I would guess based on those two words, bloods, because blood is red.
Right. That's what I was thinking too. But then I was like, I don't feel like this guy has any kind of gang affiliation. But what do I know? Continue.
Yeah. The poet also left a note on the bandana and butcher knife, and it said, "Shut your eyes and think of the 12-inch blade. Will you remember the hole it made? Dream of me and obey my commands. Think of me with a knife in my hands." That was an improvement.
I was going to say, he graduated from like grade 5 poetry to grade
Middle
8
school
poetry. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Police canvassed the area, and they did have 2 witnesses that reported seeing a man at the phone booth who did resemble the police sketch of the poet that they had released before, but they had no way to find this person. So
they posted this picture like in the paper and on the news?
It was on the news, it said, and the police had a copy of it. So they were showing like, did you see anybody that looked like this come into the office? And 2 people did say they did, but
I'm just surprised that they didn't have more people like call in tips and stuff like that for like, hey, we know this guy.
And maybe they did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't really see anything in the article about people calling in tips.
Well, nothing that actually turned out to be anything anyway.
No, nothing that gave them anything solid.
Huh.
The frequency of the letters amped up over the next few weeks. In February, he sent her a Valentine that said, Here's to you a tender valentine, red with blood and tied with twine. Nothing too much for a valentine, gone from here by whim of mind. Oh, that's it?
Oh. I was expecting at least one more line at the end of that. I was gonna say, wow, this one's actually not that bad.
Yeah, no. Then they just stopped.
Ended
They're missing a line and they're rhyming couplets there.
There's always something.
Yeah. A strip of red bandana was included in the envelope, and then there was also a letter with that valentine that said, I'm about ready to start telling about you now. It will just be your word against mine.
What?
I don't know.
Like talking to somebody, like blaming her for something that she's doing to him apparently or something?
It's a great question.
Interesting. Okay.
At this point in the investigation, the police had looked into over 300 people as potential suspects.
Whoa.
But none of them, like they couldn't tie anything to anyone.
Wow. That's a lot of suspects.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if they're counting the BTK killer suspects as well.
I have no idea. No, because there would have been more.
Jeez.
I would assume. I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
I'm making things up.
Okay. Well, I believe you.
Because that's what you want to do on a true crime story. So they decided that at this point they needed a plan that would get the poet to come out into the open, because nothing they'd been doing was working and the tips weren't leading them anywhere. So they put Ruth in a bulletproof vest and they let her walk through downtown Wichita. They did have 6 to 8 plainclothes officers in the area as well, just kind of watching for something to happen. More detectives were cruising up and down the streets in unmarked cars, just acting normal. But that operation also got them nothing because nobody made a move on Ruth. A detective even spent the next several weeks downtown disguised as a drunk vagrant in the hopes that he would just see the guy fitting the description.
No way.
Yeah, he just stayed downtown all the time, pretending to be just drunk.
Gosh, that's crazy. Like, these operations that they do are pretty wild.
Right? But that also, they didn't see anyone that matched the description and nobody approached Ruth.
Interesting.
Over the next 6 months, the poet harassed a lot of local businesses with letters now.
Why?
That's a great question.
Like, what does he hope to gain from that?
I don't know, but the letters were vicious.
Why? I don't get it.
So in the article, they listed some of the businesses and the letters. So this is from the article. One letter told a local mortuary to contact Ruth about its services, saying she would be requiring them soon. Letters to the gas and electric company instructed them to turn off the Finleys' utilities.
Oh, like he's pretending to be them and sending them the business's letters.
No, he's pretending to be the
Finleys?
poet. He wants people to know it's the poet, but he's just harassing these companies.
Well, that's just stupid.
Right?
I thought it was going to be a smart move if he was like pretending to be the Finleys to be like, oh, they're requesting to have their power shut off. I'm going to shut their power off. That's
they're
so
like, yo,
dumb.
I'm the poet. What it do?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. A letter went to the health department telling them that Ruth was spreading venereal disease. A construction. Yeah, that's a real like grade school one.
Right. I do feel like this guy is like, middle school for sure.
Yeah. A construction company was solicited to tear up the Finleys' driveway, and the DMV was asked to confiscate Ruth's license because of her hazardous and dangerous driving habits. Ruth's bank also got one that ordered them to transfer all of her money. And the last one is a local florist received a $5 bill with the request that one black flower be sent to Ruth.
Probably still wasn't enough money.
No, I mean in the 80s, maybe.
Maybe, I guess, yeah. Fair enough.
Police decided that they would switch out the surveillance camera in the back and now install a hidden camera inside a birdhouse.
Smart.
a copy of the poet's letters were sent to psycholinguist Dr. Murray S. Murin. He had gotten national recognition for his work on the Son of Sam case in 1977. Dr. Murin wrote a profile for the poet and said he was clearly and severely psychotic. He was pathological. He could be schizophrenic, extremely dangerous, a wily and elusive quarry, and most likely a loner. He also said that while the style and pathology of the poet and the BTK Strangler were highly similar, he did not believe that they were the same person. At the beginning of June, Ruth received another letter, but this one was different. It was the first time the postmark was from outside of Wichita. This one was postmarked from Oklahoma City. The Oklahoma police then received an anonymous call from a woman who claimed that there was a man resembling the sketch and the description of the poet, and he was in Oklahoma. When police investigated him, they found that he had actually worked in Wichita, but 7 months ago he was fired, so he moved into a trailer in Oklahoma City. His psychological profile also matched that of the poet that they had made.
This is promising.
Right.
Yeah.
So the police really thought that they finally had their guy, and they flew him into Wichita for a police lineup. But Ruth looked and she didn't think he was the guy.
No way.
She said he did have a lot of physical similarities, but it definitely wasn't him.
Okay. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. The stalking and harassing continued to escalate. The poet started leaving stuff on the Finleys' front porch really often.
Weren't they watching her place?
I know. They put a camera in the back, not the front.
And I guess a detective is in her living room or whatever. He's not paying attention to the front door either.
No.
Hello, if he's leaving multiple things on the front door.
Yeah.
Watch the fucking front door.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So he left them an ice pick.
Oh.
A bottle of urine.
What?
And a bag of poop.
What the fuck? These are the most random things. Was it a flaming bag of poo?
Okay, when I read bag of poop, the first thing I thought of was the movie Billy Madison.
Yes.
Where they leave flaming bags of poop on people's porch. Yeah.
It's those darn kids again.
Yeah. I don't believe that this bag of poop was a fuego.
A fuego. It's got the same sentiment to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But he did leave Molotov cocktails and broken glass on the front
Molotov.
steps. That's what I said. Molotov.
Nope.
That's what I said.
Molotov. It's got
Molotov.
Molotov. It's got a pronunciation of the O in it in the middle.
I did. There's 3 O's.
Molotov.
Molotov.
I don't know. The way you said it first, it was not that though.
It was.
Okay, it didn't sound that way to me anyway. Sorry. I just want to say that I feel like these things could also be biological warfare against this poor woman.
Yeah, if you're leaving poop and pee.
Right? Like, who knows where those have been or what he got them from and how contagious or infectious they are.
No.
Gross.
He also sliced their garden hose and he broke the lock on their back gate. They then found matches, hair, firecrackers, and cigarettes in their mailbox.
Which is in the front yard of their house, I think.
I'm assuming.
It's very infuriating that he was able to drop off all of these things to the front and no one thought to put a post on the front, like a hidden camera or somebody like peeking around the corner or something. Come on.
Yeah. One day, Ruth found a rock wrapped in a red bandana in their backyard along with a pair of wire cutters. I don't know what happened to the birdhouse camera at this point. I don't know if the camera was not working, if it did not show that part of the backyard. I have no idea. It didn't say.
What is the significance of the rock wrapped in a bandana and wire cutters?
Ask the poet.
Oh, is this supposed to be some sort of poetic justice or something?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I feel like this is not his intended outcome.
At Christmas time, the poet sent a letter that read, "'Twas the night before Xmas, and all through the house. Ruth wasn't stirring. You're as quiet as a mouse.
Oh my.
Your stocking was tight, around your neck with care. I hoped the lieutenant would not soon be there."
What the
Also,
It's this been a year?
instead of your, they wrote Y-U-R every time. So it's like, it makes me think of a pirate. Like,
Why you are? Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
You're
wonder
as
what
quiet
he
as a mouse.
Did with all the extra time he saved from omitting the O's from that sentence. Also,
Peeing in jars.
Also, if it's you're as quiet as a mouse, it would actually be you are. So it would be like the O, the apostrophe, and the E.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't think they messed around with their, and theirs, and your, and yours.
I am judging his grammar and spelling right now.
While Ed and Ruth were watching TV in their basement, a wreath on their front window was set on fire.
What? Like on their window?
Yeah, they had, it said wreath on their front window, but I'm thinking maybe it's like the
Window on the
greenery
front
that
door.
you put up under a window, like a bough.
On the outside of your house, though?
Yeah. You've never seen that?
No.
You put a garland on your windowsill.
I've seen that on the inside of people's windows, but not on the outside.
No, I see it on the outside. And when I decorate my Sims house at Christmas time,
Oh,
you best believe I put the garlands on the windows.
I would enjoy to see that someday.
Yeah.
Your Sims hell. I have never seen the I've seen the garland on the outside, like going down the railing of the stairs outside or something like that.
I'm making it up that it's a garland. It said wreath. It said wreath on the window.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I pictured literally a wreath hanging on the window of the front door.
Maybe. I have no idea. It said their front window. Either way, it was set on fire.
Okay. Either way, that's terrifying. And
Yeah. Either way, there was a fire.
yeah, not okay.
When that happened, Ed grabbed garden shears and took off into the neighborhood, yelling that he was going to kill the poet.
Ooh, he's had enough.
Yeah.
Last straw has been broken.
Oh, absolutely. I don't blame him. After the second
That was
letter,
a year. Like
I would have
that-
had a mental breakdown.
You said that this stuff was starting to happen like January of 1980. It was before that when
It's been like 2 or 3 years of this.
Yeah, this is just too much. I don't know
Yeah,
how
I
he
think
lasted this
I
long
can't
with
remember
his
now.
sanity.
Wait, let me scroll to the top here. I think I said it started in 76, 77.
Holy shit. So it's been like
Yeah.
almost 4 years at this point.
Yeah,
Whoa.
right?
That's wild. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, your sanity would be shot. Like I can't even imagine living any kind of a normal life.
No.
These poor people.
In March, the poet wrote that he was going to kill Ruth at the St. Patrick's Day parade. And on April Fool's Day, pieces of concrete,
Oh
there's that
my
concrete
God.
again.
No, you
Pieces
did
of concrete were thrown onto the Finleys' front porch. I told you,
Oh my
every story
God.
theme from now on is random concrete.
Did you even know that?
No, I forgot I put that in there.
Oh my God. And I feel like if this was Sesame Street, the theme of the day or the theme of the month
Yeah.
has been concrete.
Random concrete.
Concrete. Oh my God, the concrete. I can't even. It's hilarious.
At this point,
Nobody saw him walking up the street with concrete.
no,
Sorry.
this man's a ghost.
I can't. I just can't. Oh my God. Okay, continue.
At this point, it's years into this case, and the media and public are hounding the police into solving it.
Well, yeah.
Because this is terrifying for the whole community that there's this stalker.
Absolutely.
Chief Richard Lemunion trusted that his officers were doing everything that they could, so he let them continue to run with it without interfering. But then on September 4th, 1981,
Whoa.
yeah, so now we're in year 4,
Seriously.
Drawatsky told Lemunyan that the poet had sent a new letter where he said after he killed Ruth, he was going after Lemunyan's wife, Sharon.
Oh, crap. Oh, my God. Yeah. Okay, can you spell that last name for me?
Lamonyon.
Lemunyan. Okay.
If you got a better way to say it, you tell me.
I don't, and I just...
It could be Magnon. Lemunyan.
Yep, could be. Lemoyne? No.
No. If it is Moyne, I've never seen Moyne spelled like that.
I don't know.
Because Lemoyne's a real Cape Breton last name.
Lemunyan.
Lemunyan?
Yeah. It's hard not to giggle at that name, but this obviously is a very serious situation, so can't laugh.
We'll call him the chief.
Okay, thank you.
Because he's the chief. So they were going to kill the chief's wife, Sharon. In the letter, he even went into detail knowing the make of Sharon's car and the exact route she drove to work every day.
Oh my gosh. Like, what does this guy do for a living? Nothing.
So now the chief is very invested in this.
Of course he is.
Yeah. Once he heard about this letter, he took the huge case file home and he spent the entire weekend going over every single document and making notes. By the time he finished reviewing everything, he knew the identity of the poet.
What? How did he know?
He knew. He was 100% confident that he knew.
No way.
Who it was.
Okay.
Based on all of the evidence.
Okay.
The next Friday, the chief called a meeting of 16 of his officers in a civil preparedness room specifically designed to keep city officials safe in a natural disaster. So it was a windowless basement in the county courthouse because he wanted this meeting to be completely off the grid, confidential.
Fair.
The chief took his seat at the head of the table and announced with no fanfare, the poet is Ruth Finley herself.
But, wait, what? I thought that they said that she couldn't have done that herself.
That was what the doctor's report said.
Right. But did her husband stab her for her? Was this a big ploy by both of them? Wait, I'm not convinced. Continue.
So, before the officers could argue why it wasn't her, the chief listed his reasons as to why Ruth is the poet. 1, there had never been a single witness to any of Ruth's encounters with the poet, though they all occurred in public places, according to her. 2, the Finleys lived on a dead-end street with very little traffic, yet none of the neighbors or station police officers had ever spotted the poet with all these drop-offs that were happening with all this stuff, and they never ever found any footprints on their property that didn't belong to the Finleys.
Oh, interesting. And she would know where the cameras were.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Detectives found only a single set of footprints, which were Ruth's, in the park where she had supposedly maced her kidnapper. Because remember, she said that they kidnapped her, took her to the park, and then he walked her down to the water to go pee, and she maced him and ran.
Right.
But when the police investigated, the only set of footprints they could find were hers.
Oh, that's interesting.
She also said that that was when the kidnapper had hit her in the face with the concrete. But when they got her checked out afterwards, there wasn't a huge injury to her face. So, like, if you got hit with a piece of concrete, that's going to leave a mark.
Absolutely.
But her injuries were just superficial.
Interesting. Because she probably couldn't... Well, I don't know. If she's willing to stab herself. Like, you probably wouldn't have the guts to, like, actually go ahead and hit yourself with a concrete slab or whatever, right? But
that'd be hard.
But having, like, stabbing yourself would be hard, too.
Yeah. This next point Megan brought up, Ruth called the Central Investigations Office in the police department when she was stabbed but why didn't she call emergency room?
Yeah. 911. And then all of them would come.
Yeah. And she got out of the car to make the call, then back in the car and drove home. But how did she do all of that with a knife sticking in her side? And why was that her train of thought and her actions when she could have went straight to the emergency room?
Exactly. Because the emergency room would be the first place I would think of to go, because you are surrounded by a ton of people and you would be safe there. And your husband could join you later. Why would you go home first? I still didn't get that one for sure.
I mean, I will say some of this is circumstantial evidence. Like
for sure.
You know.
Yeah.
Next, Captain Hill received a letter from the poet as soon as he took over Ruth's case, but only Ruth, Ed, and the police knew that Hill had taken over the case.
I will say that I had thought earlier, before you switched to this new Captain Lamanian guy, that there would have been like a mole, or there was somebody in the police force who was either the guy or working with the guy.
Yeah, because that happens sometimes, and that's how they avoid being detected, because they always know when the patrol is happening.
Exactly. That was what my original thought was before this whole transition, but now I'm not sure. Still could be possible, but
it could.
Yeah.
As soon as the recording camera was placed in the birdhouse, a camera of which only the Finleys and police were aware of, because the first one was obvious, they could see it, but this one was a hidden camera. That's when the poet stopped appearing in Ruth and Ed's backyard.
Mm-hmm. But he could have also been watching the house when that happened too. Like, it wouldn't be hard to do.
Absolutely. The poet's message to Ed in the Eagle Beacons classified stopped when the Finleys were on vacation. And then when they came back, the posts in the classified continued.
But they were on vacation, so if he's following her and stalking her like that, he would know that she wasn't home. So why continue to do it?
Again, it's circumstantial.
I know. Not that I'm trying. I'm just like, logistically, there are multiple angles you could look at this.
Yeah. Trust me, other people are with you.
Yeah.
So to him, to the chief, Ruth was the only suspect that made sense, unless it was Ed. But he didn't think it was him. One thing that the chief pointed out is that he had no personal relationship with Ruth and Ed, whereas Drawatsky and Hill both became very close with the Finleys because it had been, 4 years of working with them. Drawatsky and his wife even socialized with them. So, they'd invite them over for barbecues or dinner, or they'd spend time together on like a social, personal level.
What about all the phone calls? Like, she couldn't place those phone calls herself at the very beginning. Like, when it first started happening, he kept calling the house. And the husband didn't get to talk to the guy, but the phone still rang. So how would you explain that if it was Ruth?
That's a great question.
Thank you. I thought I would just get that out there.
I like your detective hat that you got on here.
Thank you.
So the chief kept telling them that they've been blinded this whole time. They were too close to Ruth and Ed, so they were blinded to the evidence and the facts.
I get his thinking too, but it's, again, like you said, it's all circumstantial. So prove it. Prove that it was her.
One of the questions that the chief couldn't answer was whether Ruth was genuinely mentally ill, or was she conniving? Like, was this some kind of malicious plot? Like, he couldn't find the reasoning behind that.
Like, for attention or something?
Yeah.
Oh. Weird.
During this 3-hour meeting, the chief set up a plan. They would spend the next 2 weeks doing around-the-clock surveillance on the Finleys, working in 12-hour shifts.
Also, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Didn't the coworkers or the people in the building where she worked also verify that there was a guy with that description who dropped off the poems?
They didn't see anybody drop anything off. They said they saw somebody that looked like the sketch,
like that guy
in the lobby.
Right. Yes. Okay. I just needed to confirm that part.
So they'd work in 12-hour shifts monitoring them, and they would use a van parked at the Eastgate Mall parking lot as the command center, since it was only 2 blocks away from the Finley's house.
And they're doing this all behind Ruth's back now. Because they want to try to prove it's her,
Yes.
right? Okay.
My next sentence is,
I'm so sorry.
The chief warned everyone.
I'm sorry, I'll stop.
The chief warned everyone in the meeting not to breathe a single word of this surveillance to anyone, including their spouses. Nobody, absolutely nobody. That's why he had this super private room. Only the people in this room were to know what was happening.
Makes sense.
He said if the media or he heard anyone else received any tips that this was happening, he would fire every single person in that room immediately.
Wow.
Yeah.
This guy means business. That's how strongly he believed it was her, eh?
And also, I mean, yes, and plus, now his wife is being threatened.
True. That's true. He's got different investment in it for sure. Yeah. Makes sense.
A lot of officers thought that he was wrong. They didn't think it was Ruth. Not just because they personally knew how Ruth was. She was kind. She was gentle. They witnessed her terrified for 4 years.
Yeah.
But because doctors, psychologists, and linguists had given their professional opinion that Ruth and the poet could not be the same person.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But the chief was very confident, and he thought the experts were wrong on this one.
So the police are actually following the evidence, and the chief is following all of the circumstantial stuff. Okay.
Yes.
Seems legit. All right, continue.
Yeah. To try and back up his theory, the chief gave the medical reports about her knife wounds to his own personal doctor, who also agreed with Ruth's doctors that it was pretty physically impossible for Ruth to have inflicted her stab wounds herself. But that did not change the chief's mind.
Why?
His opinion was made up, and Ruth was guilty.
Wow. Okay.
So we know what Megan's opinion is.
So sorry. Am I vocal about it? Yes.
You are. Yes.
Sorry. Like the evidence. You're a police officer. You should be going in the direction that the evidence takes you, and you're choosing to ignore it.
I mean, there is evidence.
No,
he's not.
There's
wildly
circumstantial
inaccurate.
evidence. I get it.
It is very circumstantial.
But when he talks to the experts and he blatantly ignores what they're saying, then he's ignoring evidence.
Yeah. On Monday, September 14th, the surveillance of Ruth and Ed started. One police car and one helicopter would follow them at all times.
That is so inconspicuous.
Don't ask me how you follow somebody in a helicopter.
Literally,
undercover way.
We live in a city where the helicopters are constantly going by, like they're doing their military training or whatever.
Yeah.
And I still, every single time, look up at the helicopters. Every time.
Oh my goodness.
And I think everybody I know does. Yeah, they are loud.
My office is in our basement, and there's probably a couple helicopters a week, and I can hear it plain as day from however far away it is.
And you want to look, or you at least try to look if it looks like
absolutely.
If it sounds like it's gonna try fly by your window or something, look every single time.
And if it was following you,
especially
driving to work and it's just a helicopter above you,
shine the spotlight on her or something.
Yeah,
that's how obvious you are.
I don't know. That's what was happening though. So one police car and one helicopter would follow them at all times undercover.
Maybe helicopters were super frequent back then for
maybe.
Whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
3 days later, the police helicopter provided the first break.
Oh.
At 8:30 a.m., Ed drove his black Oldsmobile into the Eastgate Mall parking lot, and he stopped at a mailbox. Ruth reached out the passenger side window, placed some mail in the slot, and then they drove off. The helicopter pilot only had instructions to follow the Finley's car at all times. Mm-hmm. So he notified officers of what he saw, and he continued his following surveillance.
Yeah.
And then at 1:30 p.m., 30 minutes before the mail was to be picked up, a postal inspector was called by the police, and he opened the mailbox and took out all of the mail inside and brought it to the downtown post office and presented it all to Drawatsky and another detective from Vice and Narcotics.
Drawatsky?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
He was
realize
in
he
the
was still
meeting.
on it. Sorry. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. He's in this 16-person
Right.
thing going down.
Okay. Sting operation.
Yeah. The detective took notes on 5 pieces of mail lying on the top of the mailbag. One was a personal letter from the Finleys. 2 were bill payments. And the other 2 were letters from the poet.
No way.
One was addressed to the Finleys, and one was addressed to a local TV station. They opened it, and the letter said, "Hickory Dickory Dock. The name on his face is Smock. Heat the iron for the brand. Cooperate for games planned. Hickory Dickory Dock."
Oh my God. It's so bad.
It's not good.
It's so bad. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not great.
Wow. Did they ever try? It's so funny. I don't know why I just thought of this, but like it would have been interesting if the police, if they had ever thought in the past before this whole sting operation, if it was her, if they try to get her to do like a rhyme or like something like that to just see what her rhymes were like. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
So now this is looking real suspicious for Ruth.
Yeah.
But the helicopter couldn't see how many letters Ruth put in the mailbox. They just saw that she put something in.
Right.
So there still wasn't enough evidence.
And they
to
know that
prove.
that's the area that guy used to track
Yes.
her. So we know he's been in the area before. So
Yes,
it would make
exactly.
sense. A big, wide area, crowded area would be a good spot to put mail in the mailbox.
Then on Saturday, September 26th, the Finleys went back to that mailbox at 4:15 p.m. Detectives snapped a picture of Ruth putting letters in the mailbox. As soon as the couple drove away, police pulled a car in front of the mailbox to block anyone else from accessing it, and they popped open their hood to kind of pretend like they broke down to not look suspicious.
Right.
And then they called the postal inspector to get the letters again. So this time they were more on top of it,
Okay.
of what letters landed right on the top.
Interesting.
They found 4 letters together from the Finleys when they emptied the mailbox. A utility company bill, a payment to JCPenney's, a personal letter, and a poet letter addressed to Ruth.
No way.
And the letter said, "No dumbass bitch will get the fucking law to get me."
What? Wait, what?
I don't, that's just what it said.
That's not a poem. And also,
Sometimes they were letters, sometimes they were poems.
what did it mean?
What does "he has an asshole heart" mean?
Fair enough.
I'm still back on that letter.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh my God. Oh, none of this makes any sense. Okay, continue.
When the detectives had finished, the Postal Service resealed the envelopes and delivered the letters onto Ruth and Ed because they didn't want to cause any suspicions.
Okay. What did they did they do that with the first ones too? They must have.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next morning, when Ruth and Ed found the poet letter in the mailbox, Ed did what he always did, and he brought the letter into the police station because that's what they were instructed to do, so he brought it in. Detectives were now starting to side with the chief, so the investigation really ramped up.
Oh, no.
Detectives went through thousands of envelopes at the businesses that the Finleys had mailed, like their utility bills or any kind of just letters that they sent.
Yeah.
And they
Are
were
they doing
looking.
the handwriting analysis or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were looking for a match with Ruth's handwriting.
I'm sorry. I mean, at least I'm on the right track detective-wise. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
Police also checked the Dropbox located in the lobby of Ruth's employer, Southwestern Bell, and several poet letters were recovered from that box, too. That same day, a suspicious coworker tipped off the police, so they came in and they were able to get into Ruth's office to search it when she wasn't there. They discovered a book of poetry, a sheet of torn carbon paper with the poet's handwriting, and a red bandana wrapped in a used yellow Kleenex in Ruth's desk. They also found torn pieces of Big Chief tablet paper covered with the poet's writing in the trash.
Oh, no.
Yes, not looking good.
It's not looking good. That's unfortunate.
On Monday, September 28th, the police began the process of obtaining search warrants for the Finley's house. On Wednesday, the chief and his wife Sharon found another poet letter waiting for Sharon in their mailbox. The letter had been mailed from Southwestern Bell on Friday, one day before the police began monitoring the mailbox in the company's lobby. The lower half of the page was torn, and the next day, microscopic fracture analysis proved that the bottom of the letter perfectly matched a ripped piece of paper found in Ruth's office trash.
No way.
Yeah.
That's like the nail in the coffin right there.
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks. Damn, Ruth, why you gotta be like this?
I know. An analysis also showed that the stamps on the envelopes retrieved from the business where Ruth and Ed had sent their bills came from the same cardboard container as the stamp on the poet's recent letter to Ruth. So
that's a rookie move right there.
Yeah. So now they have evidence. They have legit evidence.
Yeah, that sucks.
The one thing that they were very unsure of, though, was if Ed was involved in this or not. So on October 1st, Ed was told
else would she get those stab wounds? I feel, since she couldn't have possibly done them herself, I feel like.
I mean, nothing is impossible, but. So on October 1st, Ed was told to come pick up a poet letter from the city hall where they always had them. And because the police always returned the letters back to them once they analyzed them. So that wasn't anything out of the ordinary. When he got there, Captain Hill and Detective Jack Leon took Ed to an interview room where they read him his rights, which confused Ed because that had never happened before.
Right.
But, you know, he had a great relationship with everybody there, so he just went along with it. They then started questioning him by asking him about his childhood and his family, all the way up until his career as an accountant now, as an adult. They noted that his answers were very concise and seemed truthful. They then asked him to go through all of the events of the poet, starting with that first night in 1977 that he was in the hospital and he wasn't home with Ruth, and to, you know, tell them the whole story up until the most recent letter. Mm-hmm. So he did. And after all of this, Captain Hill really felt that Ed had no idea that Ruth was behind all of this.
Okay.
After 2 hours of questioning Ed, Captain Hill told him, "I know who the poet is." Ed was ecstatic. He was visibly happy. Like, oh my God, what? You know, finally? And his answer right away was, "I hope the hell you do. Let's go get him."
Oh no.
That is when Hill showed Ed the picture of Ruth putting letters into the mailbox from their car.
Right.
He told him that one of those letters was a poet letter and that they verified she sent 5 of them in the last 2 weeks. Ed was visibly stunned. His only response was, "You have to be kidding me." Hill assured him that he wasn't kidding. It was, it was the evidence. Everything now pointed to Ruth.
Yeah.
And they then told him all of the stuff that they found in Ruth's office. And then he straight up said, I'm sorry, Ed, but Ruth is the poet.
Yeah.
All Ed could say at first, he just kept saying, oh my God. And then Hill told Ed that the police weren't mad at Ruth. They just wanted to make sure that she received the help that she very clearly needed.
Right. Like, what is her purpose of doing all of this?
Yeah. So then Hill told him, I've hit you with a lot, haven't I? And Ed was like, yeah, you certainly have.
No shit.
Yeah. So then Hill told him that he has to eliminate him from that, he didn't think that he was involved, but he was like, I need to fully verify that you have not been involved in this. So he asked him to take a polygraph, and he was like, I hope you understand. And Ed was like, no, that's fair. I get it. So,
wow.
Ed was super stunned because he started thinking back to everything. He was thinking about the kidnapping, the stabbing, the, people
You'd literally go
the
over
house.
every single event over the last however many years. It's been like 4+ years.
Yeah. So then Hill drove Ed to the Kansas Bureau of Investigations, their headquarters, and they gave him a lie detector test. The test lasted about an hour, and as expected, Ed passed fully. So they really were positive that he was not involved in this at all.
His reaction was genuine.
Yeah. So once that polygraph test was complete, a group of detectives, accompanied by Ed, went to the Finley's house. They discovered a string of items that they could trace back to the poet in the house.
No way.
So there was a book of poems titled Maniac and Other Poems, pencils, pens, letters, carbon paper, a ruler, a writing tablet, and pieces of red bandana.
The red bandana, that does it. Was that supposed to be like the signature other than the poem, the poetry?
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
For all Ed was shocked, he was shocked. He did feel a lot of relief with it though, because just if it was Ruth and she was behind it, then that meant that there was no crazed stalker out there.
That's like your home.
Hunting
You're
them.
thinking that there's somebody like violating your personal property every day.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
Later that day, Lieutenant Drawatsky went to Ruth's work building and was waiting for her in the lobby. He asked if she'd come to the station to see some mugshots, so she agreed, and he took her into that same interview room. Hill and Leon were already there waiting for them. Hill explained her legal rights, and then they asked her the same kind of things they asked Ed. So they asked her to kind of describe her early life and growing up until adulthood, and then they asked for her to recap all the details of the poet and everything that happened. Mm-hmm. And when she was recapping all of that and all of the trauma from the poet, Hill interrupted her and said, either you or Ed have done every one of those things. And Ruth just tried to play it off. She was like, we've discussed that. We've said, they probably suspect one of us. Haha.
Right.
But then Hill put the pile of poet letters on the table and asked Ruth if she'd ever written any of these. And she said no. And that's when Hill switched from a really friendly tone of voice to more of a cold, intimidating tone and said, what if I called you a liar? Because I have evidence that shows you have written them.
Whoa.
Yeah. Ruth seemed shocked, and Hill continued and, told her that they had a problem. Sorry, they did not have a problem. She had a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
She still tried to brush it off. She didn't admit to anything. She asked, when she would have mailed those letters and why. And then that's when they showed her the photo that they snapped of her putting letters in the mailbox.
Oh.
After they showed her that, they said she kind of slumped down in her chair and her expression went very blank. And then she says an image appeared in her mind and she was sitting in her basement writing a letter. But the image was only a fragment, like a clip. And she didn't know if it was real or just something that she put in her head. Hill kept pressing her and asked her why she did this. He also listed out all of the evidence they found in her office. He then asked her if she needed help, and Ruth said yes. So now that they were presenting her with all of this, she said she started to get flashes in her memory of things she didn't really remember happening. And they kept asking her questions like, why did you do this? Why did you make up an abduction story? Why did you stab yourself? And she just kept saying, I don't know. He also asked if the attack she experienced as a teenager with the burn marks was made up, but she insisted that that was real.
Well, that could have caused whatever trauma she's experiencing now to create this new form of whatever it's supposed to be for her.
Yep.
Like that easily could have been the basis and the beginning of what this new trauma is for her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She then started admitting to doing everything. Writing the letters, leaving the weapons, all of the items they found at the house, everything that happened at the house.
And the poo.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Even stabbing herself.
No way.
She said she honestly couldn't remember if she did do all of that, but she was admitting to it anyway, but she said she didn't really have memories of doing it. She said that they were pressing her and they seemed so confident. So the officers must be right. She said as they went through everything, it felt like her memories weren't her own. Like almost like they belonged to someone else and she was watching it play out. She also did confirm that Ed had no idea about any of this and she was mortified. She said she didn't want to face him again now that the truth was out.
Wow.
Hill asked her if she wanted to see a doctor, and she said she does because, this is her quote, not mine, she does because she must be crazy, is what she said she felt like. They then brought in Dr. Schrag. He was a psychologist who 2 years earlier had worked on Ruth's case. The doctor asked what she'd like to do now, and her answer was, go home and die. Dr. Schrag assured her that if she spent some time letting someone help her, they could, have her back to living a normal, happy life. So they were very supportive, like the police and everything. Like they genuinely wanted to help her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I even feel bad for her. Like, yeah, that was a lot of BS for them to have to go through. And the resources that she wasted, especially when they had
We're going to talk about what that cost.
That I don't agree with, obviously. But, like, mental health in any country really is really, unfortunately, not looked at and not taken care of. I'm glad they're actually, like, helping her as much as they can right now.
Yeah. At 9 p.m. that night, Ruth was put in a squad car with Ed by her side. And she was taken to St. Joseph's Hospital and placed under a 24-hour-a-day psychiatric watch.
24 hours.
While she was being treated there, the Wichita authorities were trying to figure out if they should be bringing criminal charges against Ruth. The Poet case had cost the police around $370,000 US.
Wow.
The district attorney reviewed the case and decided not to pursue criminal charges because her actions were not malicious. On Friday, October 25th, 1981, Ruth finally gave her first public statement since her confession. And one of the quotes from it said, "I think I may have died and gone to hell, but I think I'm coming back though."
Wow.
On her road to recovery, Ruth entered twice-a-week therapy with Dr. Andrew T. Pickens. He tried to help her unpack her childhood, to find out where her trauma stemmed from. After 3 months of repeated attempts, Ruth and Dr. Pickens uncovered the source of Ruth's terror. So trigger warning for not good stuff involving kids. When she was a young girl, an adult neighbor and family friend had used a red bandana to tie her up.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, later he took her to his barn and he put the bandana in her mouth and he sexually abused her.
No.
The abuse went on for almost a year and it filled her with overwhelming guilt as a kid.
A year?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine? No, I don't even want to.
No.
Oh my God.
As a kid, she felt like it was her fault that this was happening, and the man had threatened to kill her if she told anyone about their secret.
I hate this.
Dr. Pickens believed the stress of Ed's hospitalization for that possible heart attack and the fear of the BTK strangler on the loose had forced her repressed trauma to come to the surface. He explained it as the poet was not being a fully developed personality and not an entirely separate identity, but it was almost like an alternate consciousness, one Ruth had no real memory or awareness of when in her regular conscious mind. So it was almost a different mindset she would go into when she became the poet.
Mm-hmm.
Her therapy went on with Dr. Pickens for the next 7 years while they worked through all the trauma to help her get back to normal.
Oh my gosh.
And the whole time, Ed and her children and her siblings all stuck by her 100% and supported her to getting healthy.
I am literally this close to tears. Like, this story is just too much. Oh my God.
That's the end right there. She got
it.
better.
Yeah. And they live happily ever after.
Yeah.
Wow. That was, oh my gosh. That is probably the most, I guess, if something like that had to happen, not had to, but you know what I mean, happened as a child, and that's how you came out and you didn't know how to deal with it when you're triggered by something, event, when you're older, that was probably the best case scenario of how to deal with it. The police doing like a bang up job and counseling for almost a decade and her family staying by her side through the entirety of what she just went through.
Yeah. Like, bless Ed. What a great husband.
Oh my God. Like, literally this close to tears. Like, that is just wild. Wow.
Good news is if you enjoyed this case, then Netflix is apparently making a true crime adaptation of it.
No way.
Yeah. They're teaming up with the production company that makes Stranger Things and director Sean Levy.
I love Sean Levy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. They better get like millions of dollars for selling their story like that.
I hope so. They just announced it in 2021, so I imagine it will be a couple years. And I don't know, it said a true crime adaptation, so I don't know if that's a TV show or a movie or
maybe like a limited
mini-series. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're going to make something.
You got me with that one. Jeez, I was not expecting
You know what's funny
that.
too is that when I was trying to find a story for this theme, I found this one and I was like, oh, the person's called The Poet. Sweet. So I read half of this article.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said that.
Yes, I read half of this article. And then I was like, yeah, I'll do this story. This is pretty good. And so then, like, the day before I had to have this story ready, I'm, like, writing it at, like, 11 o'clock at night. Like, I'm reading this article and, you know, making my notes.
Yeah.
And then I finally read the end of the story. I was like, oh, my God, this is how this ends. I had no idea it had a twist.
I do remember you saying that it had a twist ending that you weren't expecting after you finally read it. I was like, wait, what?
Pretty much where our part one kind of went to. I went to, like, she was in the hospital being stabbed after her stabbing. And I was like, oh, man, this case is wild. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait to find out who the poet is.
I was
just as shocked as everybody else.
Yeah, I was so convinced this whole time. Well, I take back all the mean things I said about Lemunyon, because he was obviously right on.
Yeah, he was
on right track. Wow, that was wild. Wow, that story really shook me. And the ending really got me. Good story, Nikki.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I think that'll make a good TV thing.
Yeah, I think so
TV.
too. Yeah, you'll have to let me know if you see it pop up, because I don't
will.
watch or do anything anymore. So yeah, I'd love to watch this one.
Yeah, you heard it here first on the Grimdark Diaries.
That's
before
right.
It makes it big on Netflix. And
Yes.
then eventually anyone that finds our podcast will look back and be like, oh my God, they did that Netflix story. Everybody knows about that.
They did that before it was cool.
Yeah.
Cool is such a horrible way to describe this
not.
story.
You are an asshole.
You know what? I will give you that one. Absolutely am an asshole. Oh my gosh. I guess the amount of grammar, spelling issues and things like that was from the mental state she was in when she was writing those poems.
Yeah, she was in a completely different mind that wasn't her own.
Yeah. So thinking back on it now, like, as funny as that is, it's not funny at all, because that's the mental state that you have to be in order to do those kinds of things, because of the trauma that you experienced and the triggering that came up to make you feel the way that you've been feeling. Like, that just breaks my heart for her. I feel my heart just honestly broke to hear that that was actually something that she was going through and didn't really know it, and just all she needed was help. I'm so glad they gave it to her. I am so glad that that is the ending, and that they didn't just throw her in jail and expect her to survive, like, mentally from that.
Yeah. I'm assuming she's doing okay. The article didn't say that it went poorly. It just kind of said everyone stuck by her. They stuck by her.
They stuck by her.
Hey, they stuck by you, eh?
Were you from Cape Breton? Yeah, because she was only, what, in her 40s? Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, oh, God. I mean, she should be, like, in her 80s at this point. I don't want to say that, you know, from the 80s you're almost 40 or over 40 at this point, but, yeah. Well, anyway, way to bring down the house, Nikki.
Well, as promised last week, you're bringing the die roll back bigger and better than ever. So
oh, yeah, that's right.
You better have something good. I know, you're just sitting there. Come on, you got a job to do.
I am, like, immersed in the story still right now. I am, like, hardcore, like, processing the story that you just told me. All right, opening my story themes. All right.
How is this die roll going to be bigger and better than ever?
I have a... Did I tell you this? I have my desk mouse pad now, so it's like taking up the entirety of my desk.
So you can't hear the die.
Well, I'll roll it way over here.
So it's the opposite of bigger and better than ever. It's quieter and smaller.
It's quieter and smaller. Or not at all. If I rolled it on the mouse pad, you wouldn't hear anything. So I'm going to roll it on the actual hard desk so you can hear it, maybe. Unless the noise gate cuts it out. Did you hear it?
I heard the first hit and then it cut it out.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully the mic picked it up.
The mic will pick it up.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. All right. I got a 3. So it's not bigger or better in any way, shape, or form. My story theme is possessed and obsessed.
Ooh.
I actually love that theme. You must have wrote that one.
I sure did.
I figured as much, yeah. Well, because I'm the only other one who would have written.
There is only 2 of us here on this show. If somebody would like to join us, I'd love somebody to just edit my episodes for me.
Oh my God, honestly. Seriously, if we could have an editor, that'd be great.
Sound engineer is not anywhere in my job descriptions.
No, me either. I work in IT, but I do not work in audio IT.
No, I don't have a good attention span. I don't like sitting there listening to something I already said once.
I know, and then you got to listen to it when it's done, and then you got to listen to it when it comes out, so we get the listens.
Oh, I don't do that.
Oh, okay. That's
do you?
Just me, is it? Yes,
do you?
I do.
Oh, no.
I do, because I want us to at least get that download. It's like,
No.
you know, when you are voting for something that you're running for, you have the ability to vote for yourself.
I guess. Well, shit. No, I've never listened to a single one of our episodes on a streaming platform. Well, because I already listened to it. I know, listen to it as we speak it, and then I listen to it when I edit it.
But when you do that, it doesn't count as a download or listen.
Yeah, but
for
I don't got time to listen to it again.
Just put it on like the lowest volume and leave it sitting beside your desk or something.
But I have to have my phone going at all times with something.
Oh, you're one of those people. Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't be in silence.
I mean, I guess that's fair. Who am I to judge? Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us on this wild ride that we just had today. If you would like to follow us on social media, you know how to get a hold of us. We are The Grimdark Diaries anywhere and everywhere except some places. We're only on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And we are going to get on TikTok. We have our account, so you can follow us on there, but we haven't posted anything yet, but we are getting there. If you want to see pictures from this episode, you can follow us on Instagram. We will be on there posting all the fun pictures, but not fun. I don't know. Anyway. If you would like to send us an email and tell us how wonderful we're doing on this podcast.
No, don't prompt me with that.
You can email us at thegrimdarkdiaries@gmail.com and the podcast platform that you're listening to us on. If it's an Apple podcast, that's awesome. You can give us a 5-star rating and you can comment, review, whatever. If you are on Spotify, you can give us a 5-star rating on there as well. And any other podcast platform, I don't know what they can do, but you can follow or like, subscribe, whatever it is that they allow you to do. We would love it if you showed us some love.
And if not, then you is an asshole.
Asshole. That's right. But we love you anyway. Thank you for listening.
You can love an asshole.
It's true. You can't. Yep. That's the quote of this entire episode. You can love an asshole.
Someone's yum.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you, everybody. Join us next week to see what I come up with for Possessed and Obsessed. And remember, a friend in the dark beats alone in the light.